plays a role in everything, but you can't do anything with that, right? You can't plan on luck. So let's set luck aside, but luck is absolutely also important. The team is really critical. Having a solid team with complementary skills. Innovation is a key factor for success. So you want to be creating something new that is solving a problem better or cheaper than all the existing solutions. And timing is always important because you want the customer to be at a point where they're feeling the pain of the problem and all the enabling factors are already in place. So this could be enabling technology, which allows your technology to exist, or it could be that the customer is up to speed, which makes the adoption of the technology easier for them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I totally agree with that. And, I think that it's the team that makes something very beautiful and very, upcoming. And if the team doesn't support that and they don't put their mind and heart and efforts in it, then this is doomed to fail. So it's definitely the team spirit and the team character and, background, of course. We've seen and we've met a lot of people that they have a great idea, they have an innovative idea, groundbreaking research, but when they try to take it to the market, they fail. And failure, in fact, is a part of entrepreneurship. But judging from your personal experience on Z Corporation, this is how actually it started. It was a research out of MIT, and then you commercialized it. What do you think takes it to the next level? What is it? What is this that takes research to the commercialization and to the market after all?
Well, I'm glad you're asking that question because that is such a huge opportunity for Greece. There's amazing research happening at the universities in Greece, and it's really not being commercialized because that hasn't been an aspiration. And so I think that's a very relevant question for Greece. What you need is a dedicated team. So it's not something that a professor can do on his free time on Saturdays and Sundays. You really need students who decide that this is what they want to do with the next 10 years of their life or whatever. And they ideally have some commercial experience. They have access to funding or they are able to get funding. They have mentors who can help guide them and confidence that there is a market based on real direct communication with the customers to identify a market need, a real problem in the market that this technology can solve. And but most of all, what it really needs is dedication. It needs people who are completely committed to this and nothing else. This is what they wake up every morning doing. It's not something that's on the side because it's too difficult to do. You can't do it as a side project. It really needs to be something you dedicate. Having said that, a lot of times it takes a while to develop the necessary information to be sure that you want to commit to it. And that's totally fair, where you need to have those conversations with customers, further develop the technology to be sure that it's worth doing that sort of dedicated commitment.
I totally agree. And I think that it is a full-time job and it's not something that, you're used to saying, oh, I actually do that. And I'm doing this on my extra time and I have free time. So I think I'm going to do that. It's definitely not like that. You have to be dedicated. You have to be full-time in it. And eventually, if you're dedicated and you have faith in yourself and in your research, then I think you're going to succeed. And this is, I think, how it happened for you. Moving on, I would like to say, and as I said earlier, you're a woman with many umbrellas. You are the board chair of Levitronix. You've been a CEO. You're in many committees and advisory boards. But you're also a writer and an angel investor. So moving on to my question, what do you think makes a good investor? And what could make the Greek startup scene more attractive to angel investors and to investors in general from abroad?
So a good investor ideally has been an entrepreneur. So they understand the bumps in the road. They have good advice to offer. They have relevant connections. They have access to funding. So they can bring other investors on the round to invest. But most of all, because they've been through it before, they understand that it's a bumpy road and there are things that come up that are unexpected, and it might need more funding than you anticipated, or it might require a larger investment, and they're not going to completely freak out about that. In terms of investors just want to make money. So as Greece starts to produce large exits, people will notice, and they will invest more. I have a friend who is a professional investor, venture investor, and he invested in a very successful Greek startup. And as a result, what happens with startups is exited entrepreneurs start up new businesses. And so now he's invested in a second Greek startup. And he's based here in Boston. He has no connection to Greece. But one thing leads to the other. So success breeds success.
Great. That was a great question, a great answer. We have a lot of upcoming startups here and startuppers. So what would be your advice to them? And specifically, what would be your advice to women in tech who are trying to get in tech now or starting their journey in technology? And they're maybe a little bit afraid, they're maybe a little bit frightened by the whole world of technology that is mainly, I'd say, conquered by men. I don't know why. We've seen a lot of very respected and knowledgeable young and older women. And what would be your advice to those people?
So in general, for women, my advice is don't be scared. You can't be an entrepreneur and allow your fear to get the better of you. So there's nothing to be scared of. There's never been a better time to be a woman in tech. Even a girl in tech, whether you're studying in grade school, high school, college, university, graduate school, or going in the boardroom. Women are wanted, and there's a shortage of them. So don't worry about that. In terms of being an entrepreneur, you need to look for discontinuities and disruptions in the market. That's where opportunity arises. And that's where, as an entrepreneur in a startup, you have an advantage over the large incumbents, because it's very hard for those large companies to change course. They do what they do really well. Trying to compete with them against what they already do is extremely difficult. So you don't want to look for that. And I think sometimes entrepreneurs don't realize, people know they want to start a new business and they don't know what to do. And so they look at copying a large company. That is very dangerous because it's very difficult to compete with a large company. They have funding, they have expertise, they have a history, they have distribution, they have technology. But if something has changed, and so when we look at disruptions, this could be new regulations in the market, old regulations that now have lifted. It could be enabling technologies, something that has changed, something new, something different. That's when it's a big opportunity for a startup, because now you can do something brand new that has never been done before. And it's going to take years before a large company sees that opportunity and is willing to really invest in it.
Great. And I think you said something very important. You mentioned the word opportunity. And I think that an entrepreneur is the one who sees opportunity wherever this is not very obvious to anyone else. And maybe this is one way to succeed, because you see the opportunity somewhere that someone else hasn't seen it already. And this is actually a part of the innovative idea and the market gap that we say. Quick question before I let you go. What would be your future plans? Do you have anything amazing in hand? Are you going to be a full-time writer? Because I know that you like it a lot, you love it, and you've been actually really writing very well, because I've read a couple of your articles before this interview.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for being a reader. I really appreciate it. So I am continuing to write. I spend a lot of my time writing, and I love writing. I would never do it full time. I shouldn't say never, but I don't expect to do it full time. I love the work that I'm doing with Greek startups, doing a little bit of angel investing, advising startups. I also advise startups here in the US, and I chair a board of a company based in Zurich. And I really, for me, what's really fun is that mix. It's really hard. The one thing I missed so much when we sold Z Corporation was the camaraderie, the teamwork, the sense of creating a product, creating a solution where before there had been nothing. And so a lot of that exists in writing, but that sense of teamwork and camaraderie does not exist in writing. And so I don't want to give that up. I think there's a bug you get when you're an entrepreneur. It's so much fun that it's really hard to walk away from that. So I don't expect walking away from that world anytime soon.
Great, I totally agree. So thank you, Marina. Thank you for being with us today to the 8th Envolve Award Greece winners announcement. I know you want to be here in person. Hopefully we can have you next year. It's been a great honor for me to host this Fireside Chat with you. And hopefully we'll see amazing things from you as well near the future. Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you so much.
Greetings from
Bye-bye.
Athens.